Let's talk about your sense of equilibrium and hearing. Both those senses occur because of receptors which are located in the ear. All right, so let's look at the ear first. We'll discuss equilibrium and hearing. Equilibrium, which is your sense of where the head is at all times, right? That way you can balance your muscles out to maintain your balance. So equilibrium and hearing, both of these senses are made aware due to things which are in the ear. So the ear itself has three parts. Okay, so you have, let's draw that first. Draw the ear. Okay, so the ear has three parts. You have the outer ear, the external ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. Okay, three parts of the ear. So let's first talk about the external ear. So the external ear has, of course, the auricle. Is the auricle. Those are the flaps out here that catch sound waves as they try to pass by, to funnel them into the ear canal. This part is called the ear canal, or what's called the external auditory meatus. The external auditory meatus, the opening, leads you into the ear canal. There's auricle there. And here you can probably call this part the meatus, external auditory meatus there, leading into the ear canal. And the ear canal, so you have the ear canal. So sound travels like this, travel through the ear canal to hit on what's called your tympanic membrane. So this tympanic membrane marks the border between the inner ear and between the external ear and the middle ear. Your tympanic membrane. Okay, so three parts to the outer ear: auricle, the canal, and the what's called the eardrum, or your tympanic membrane. After that, you then get into the middle ear, where the middle ear gives you what's called your auditory ossicles. Okay, ossicles. These are the smallest bones in the body, as you know. The ossicles. Where you have your malleus next to the incus, next to the stapes. Stapes. So malleus is the first one. So it's attached to your tympanic membrane. But then the malleus is attached to the incus, and then the incus is attached to the stapes. Okay, those three bones of the middle ear. These bones vibrate to transmit the vibration into the inner ear. Okay, so these vibrate to pass sound down into the inner ear. In the middle ear as well, you also have a tube that runs through this tube is called the auditory tube. The auditory tube, also called your eustachian tube or your pharyngotympanic tube, that tube, auditory tube, its job is to equalize pressure between the outside and the middle ear. Otherwise, the air pressure would puncture your eardrum, okay? So the pressure has to be equal on both sides of it, so you don't burst it that way. Okay, so it's equalize pressure on both sides of the tympanic membrane. You also have muscles in here, two muscles we want to point out. There's one muscle that's attached to your stapes. There's another one attached to your malleus. Okay. So these muscles are, so this muscle here, this one attached to the malleus is called your tensor tympani. And this one is attached to your stapes is called your stapedius muscle. It's two muscles in the middle ear. And muscles are stapedius and tensor tympani. Their job is to reduce vibration of the ossicles so they don't break, okay? So almost call it your tympanic reflex. The job is to reduce vibrations of the ossicles. They also adjust your hearing to your voice. Oftentimes when we hear ourselves on a recording, we sound different than we think we sound. Because when we speak, we hear ourselves after we have already done this to our own ears, hearing, so we sound a bit different than how you hear me, okay? So those are the stapedius and the tensor tympani. And then the inner ear, so let's go straight to the inner ear. Let me erase this and do the inner ear. Okay. So the inner ear has these canals. One canal there, one here, and look at the other one, and one like this. Okay, so three canals for anterior, posterior, and the horizontal canals, three canals there. You have a middle area here called the vestibule, and then you go up into the cochlea. Okay, so this is the inner ear. Okay, so in the inner ear you have this part, these three things are called your semicircular canals, three of them. Then this middle area here, this middle area is called the vestibule. Okay. And in there you have two structures. There's an upper structure called the utricle, and the lower one called the saccule. Okay. So those are the two structures of the vestibule, and then this structure here is called the cochlea. It looks like a snail, okay? So off the bat, the canals, the semicircular canals, or ducts really is the official name, these are responsible for detecting angular movements of the head. This way, this way, this way. No matter how you move the head in an angular way, one or all three of these canals will fire to tell the brain what's going on. That way you are aware of where the head is, and you can adjust your balance, okay? So the canals do angular movements of the head, The vestibule is responsible for linear movements of the head, meaning this way, this way, this way, or this way, up and down linearly, as long as it's not rotating. Okay, and specifically, in the vestibule you have the utricle, which does horizontal movements. Right, driving the car. The saccule does vertical movements. Right, jumping up like this, or in the elevator. That was 5. So all 5 of these things, the 3 canals plus the saccule and utricle, are there for equilibrium. Your sense of where the head is at all times. Okay, even with the eyes closed, you can tell where it is. And the cochlea is for hearing. All right. So let's pause and then we'll come back to here.